welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 219.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are
Two
crazy
ketos. And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you are new here, say hi down below.
Now here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and every Monday, we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way, every single time, apparently the memo was, we're red, you'll be alerted to it.
Not planned at all.
Clearly, we do not quite see each other in the morning when we're getting dressed.
Well, we do. I just don't pay attention.
I know. Well, I didn't either, obviously. But we're cute. We're matchy-matchy.
Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch. If you are new here, Keto Beyond the Couch is all about subscribers. We like to celebrate wins, success stories, and answer questions and comments from the past week that we found on our Mighty Network group, on our Facebook family group, or in the comments section of our videos. The way we do this is we basically go through our normal Keto Beyond the Couch, and then the last 10 or 15 minutes we address the chat. So if you have a question, kind of hold off for the last 10 or 15 minutes right around 11 o'clock, or you can use the super chat function, which is a little $sign that is in the chat window down below. And you make a little donation in the channel, which helps us be able to get to conferences and run our channel. And it also highlights our screen and lets us know that you have a question. I wanted to just also let you know, we have a sponsor for today's video. Again,
yes.
It really does help us. This is our full-time job, just trying to help people get their health back. Today's sponsor is Perfect Keto.
Thanks, Perfect Keto.
And Perfect Keto has started effective today their second best sale of the year. The only sale that they have better than this all year long is their Black Friday sale.
Right.
So if you need some Perfect Keto products, today is the day to order it. And the sale runs from today all the way through Memorial Day. And it's a tiered sale. It's like buy one, get 15% off, not worth it. The best deal is buy 5 items or more, and you get 40% off of your entire purchase. So that, to me, is the deal to go. Like, I wouldn't do anything less than 30%. It's just not worth it.
It's not worth it.
We also always tell people, never buy anything from Perfect Keto unless there's a sale. And there's generally a sale like every other week anyway. But this is the second best sale of the year. The only sale that's ever better is Black Friday, which can be up to 50% off, but I don't even think it was 50% off last year. So
yeah, I'm not sure, but that is usually the best sale.
And if you're curious, what are our favorite products from them is, I love the Nola bars, especially the peanut one, although this is the peanut butter one. We have the peanut butter one. I like them all, but that's my favorite one. It tastes like a payday. And then their MCT oil powder. We use that for coffee, especially when we're traveling. And also their collagen, and this is Rachel's favorite flavor, is the peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
And I know we have a lot of friends who like the nighttime collagens, the sleep collagens and stuff like that.
They have lots of products. Oh my gracious.
So yeah, we really appreciate it. If you need anything from Perfect Keto, please use our link down below. That link will automatically put the discount into your cart. And we appreciate Perfect Keto for supporting Two Crazy Ketos, and we appreciate you guys for supporting the sponsors who do support Two Crazy Ketos. Also wanted to mention, Carnivore Crisp is having a Memorial Day sale too. I got the email like right before we came on.
Carnivore Crisps came with me and Mommy to Orlando. It was so nice.
I ate a bag a day.
Well, I mean, we did too. And it was really nice. It's funny because I was eating the chicken. I like the chicken breast. It is dry and crunchy, and my mom is like, what are you doing eating that? Like, I can't. I
like the chicken skins.
She likes the brisket.
That's
obviously.
My favorite.
And so she's like, what are you doing over there with chicken breast? But I enjoy it. I think it's like a mouthfeel preference, and I like to put like different dips on it.
Yeah.
But it was just so funny that she was teasing me about liking chicken breast.
Yeah, I brought mine. I had 14 lacrosse games over the weekend. Between the 2 days, I think it was like 50,000 steps. It was like ridiculous. It was a ridiculous amount of walking and running up and down the field. And what I basically did was I had bags of these, and the kids were all sitting there eating garbage in between games, and I was eating a bag of that.
Well,
so they're having a sale anyway. It's 15% off through Memorial Day. Use our link, and then down below in the description is the code for the discount. It's like Memorial 15 or something like that.
I see Lynette is saying that she likes the pork loin. My mom liked the pork loin too, and we had left a bag like in the car. And so we get back in on for our drive home, and my mom was like, "Ooh, I'm so glad that we left it in the car because the
Now
heat
it's warm.
makes it like greasy, and like the greasiness is really, really good." So it was a nice treat on the way home, because she was just sitting there with her little Redmond.
Yeah.
Just salting those and enjoying them.
Synergy wants to know, what do we use the MC2 oil powder and the collagen powder in? Mostly coffee, especially the MC2 oil powder. The collagen, I like to make just like almost like a milk drink. We'll use like some almond milk and add some of that in. It really gives you like a nice milky kind of drink. Also, we'll add it to different recipes and things like that. I wanted to show you something. So I'm wearing a Freestyle Libre 3. We learned the other day on my dive, it does not work well with diving.
No, it does
Although
not.
I'm going to be retesting that.
Right.
But I've found that my glucose runs 20 points higher on the CGM than it does when I stick myself. But just take a look at this. Somebody's at our door, but take a look at this. You're not going to be able to see it, but you see how it's steadily going up? That is every Monday before or Thursday before a live stream. My stress sends it up.
It's the internet. I'm telling you, I will pinpoint it. It is like, will this thing go live?
Yeah.
Like, that is the worry. That is the concern.
Now, I'm not concerned about a 109.
Yeah.
But again, this is generally 20 points lower than sticking. If I were to stick, it's probably about an 89. But I do think it's interesting that it goes up. It goes up when I take a shower. It went up whenever we were ready for like recording a video or something like that.
When I came home last night.
It did have a little spike last night when you came home. And then when I went diving, it skyrocketed to almost 200 and then crapped out.
I got a not cool spike yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
That I was
we're going to talk about that in the other video.
Stinking mad about because we were going to treat ourselves to like a diet soda on the way home. And it was a beautiful racetrack, brand spanking new. Everything was gorgeous. We even stopped and told the manager of the racetrack like how nice it was and how like beautiful they kept the store. But they must have crossed the lines on the soda, and I got full soda.
Yep.
And it wasn't.
But you would not have known if you weren't wearing a CGM.
I would not have. In fact, I just thought to myself, it tastes different because it must be fresh.
Fresh lines.
I mean, it's like weird what you reason. And so what happened was we were driving and I thought, gosh, I got a headache. It feels like coming on. That's weird. And all of a sudden, the alarm started sounding. And then I got the fun of just watching it like The Price is Right, that yodelay hee-hoo.
It went up
like
to like 240 or something like that.
It was scary. It was like 139 point spike.
Yeah. So, okay, let's jump into Keto Be on the Couch. I am curious though, because this is supposed to lower your glucose. So I'm going to drink this during the live stream.
Yeah.
We're testing it and see if my glucose goes down.
Let's see.
We'll see. It's like
I'm drinking
not a really great
black
test,
coffee. I'm just drinking some black coffee, but a vat of it, clearly.
Okay, let's jump into Keto Beyond the Couch. We are going to start off with our Keto College Adjunct Professor of the Week. It was Donna.
Hey, Donna.
And Donna said, stop beating yourself up. You are a work in progress, which means you get there a little at a time, not all at once.
Wow, I'm telling you what, Donna is always so stinking inspiring. She shares posts like these every single day, and I feel like it is worth getting into community just to see her posts, because you're absolutely right. We can be super hard on ourselves needlessly, and I'm so thankful for everybody in this community that helps me get my eyes on the truth, because sometimes when you're in like a negative spiral, it's hard to get yourself out of it. You need somebody like Donna coming in and telling you the truth.
Bird Loves Paint wants to know, what is our favorite MC2O? I like the Perfect Keto because it's clean ingredients.
Yeah.
All MC2O powders are generally, they're put onto some kind of substrate. A lot of times they use maltodextrin. Perfect Keto uses acacia fiber. Sometimes they'll use different starches or acacia gum. So that's why we liked theirs. I also really like the flavors. As far as my favorite flavor, Probably the chocolate, but I also really do like the strawberry one.
Yeah.
Rachel doesn't like the strawberry one in coffee, though.
No, I like it as a standalone drink, or mix it with like a nut milk or
Yeah.
something. That tastes good. But strawberry in the coffee, the strawberry doesn't taste right to me.
Okay, we have a subscriber of the week this week. This is someone's success story. We always ask you guys, please share your story. Your story is so important to share.
I am laughing because I saw somebody, I think it was Janice, said, Rachel, are you drinking a pot in one go? It looks like that. We got this beautiful cup, and I enjoy like just a giant cup like this. That's so funny though.
Yeah, so we ask you, share your story. Your story is going to do two things. Number one, it helps you remember where you came from, but also it helps inspire other people, because somebody out there right now is going through this and they think they're alone, and when you share your story, it helps to inspire them. So please share your story. First one we have is from Christine.
Hey, Christine.
Christine said, do old folders come across your Google account? I can't believe the left one was 4 years ago in May of 2019. My husband, Scott Peters, and I reversed many chronic and debilitating conditions over the past 4 years. We've lost 60 pounds of fat and inflammation each and have maintained this loss while building muscle strength. The new photo was taken on May 13th of 2023.
Oh, Christine, look at you guys. Talk about aging backwards, my gracious. Look at that. You look like you're your own kids. Right? Like, that is crazy. What a beautiful couple. But yeah, I mean, even Mom was saying that this weekend was like, sometimes these like Facebook stories or things like come back across your screen, and they can be from as much as like 10 or 11 years ago. And she will say, one came up recently for her, and she said, honest to goodness, I did not think I had ever gotten as big as I was.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it. In the moment, I knew, okay, like, I'm working on it, but just...
I used to call myself healthy fat.
Well, like, just like you don't always see the progress that you're making because you see yourself every day. Back then, we didn't see the damage that we were doing because it was happening gradually every day, right?
Marie Skidmore, thank you very much for the
Marie,
$4.99 super chat. Said my hubby's birthday was on Saturday. He's excited to have you sing to him.
Yeah.
He's so supportive and loves our carnivore
What's
life.
his name so we can say his name?
Yeah, please put his name in there.
Yeah, and
so
then
we
we'll
can-
sing to
and then we
him.
can sing to
Absolutely.
him. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
First comment is from Nellie Needs Meat.
Oh, I like that name. That idea of eating something salty when you want something sweet is such a weird thing. Last week, I had such a hankering for some chocolate. Cycle was coming, and we have all kinds of keto chocolate in the house, but I don't trust myself when I'm in that kind of mood. That is very, very smart. So I grabbed a slice of keto pizza from the fridge. It's nice and salty, and I was completely satisfied. The rest of the night, I kept chuckling because I couldn't get over how quickly that desire for chocolate disappeared, and the slice of pizza was really small too. It didn't take much. You're absolutely right. Thank you for sharing that. And I love that you're setting boundaries for yourself. In fact, I was messaging back and forth with Lynette, who I see beautiful Lynette here in the chat, and something that she said, like, I'm taking it into my week. I actually wrote it down, and she said, setting boundaries is an act of self-love. Our parents started it, and we have to take over the job. And so if you know that you're in a vulnerable state in certain times, like either it's a time of the month, it's a time of the day, it's a season of the year, it is when you are in community with certain people, right? You have certain chores, it's gonna be stressful. Setting boundaries and having a plan is so stinking important, and knowing like, yes, I do have perfectly keto chocolate, but I know I can't head for it right now. Because
Right.
I'm not going to make good choices. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, Bird Love Paint said, when my CGM, my meter, and my mojo are all the same, I figure it's a glitch.
Yes.
Usually my meter is the lowest, my CGM is the highest. And again, when you're looking at a CGM, what you really want to do is look at the trend. You're looking for the spike. I don't even care about the numbers so much because I'm not a diabetic that has to dose.
Right.
If I was a diabetic that had to dose, I would probably only rely on the Dexcom, because the Dexcom allows you to calibrate it, whereas the Freestyle doesn't. But but because I don't have to dose insulin or anything like that, it's more of just a learning thing. And somebody did put a comment up the other day about, well, you don't really need them. No, you don't. But it is cool information, and I think it's good for everybody to try at least one time because it kind of lets you know what's going on with your body. And like you said, let's face it, Coke Zero is awfully sweet to most people, and
It is.
considering you don't drink it a lot, you thought it was regular Coke Zero. So you would have drunk that whole 40-ounce
I absolutely
thing
would.
had you not all of a sudden had your alarm going off.
And it went off pretty quickly. So yeah, I had gotten a message from Robin from KetoCon because I had posted about it on my Instagram or on our Instagram. Sorry about that. I just totally just divorced you from it. But like I'd put it up and she said, well, that does that to me every time I drink Coke Zero. But that isn't the case for me.
Right.
And in fact, I came home and I tried drinking a bottled Coke Zero we had to see if that was the case for me as well, and it didn't.
Right.
It didn't respike it. So it really was that it was a full soda. But again, look at Robin, Coke Zero alone does that to her. So for me it didn't. So again, I would have to take somebody else's information and try to make it my own. So it's just, I think it's important.
There are things that
to get your
shouldn't
own.
spike most people's glucose, but they do spike certain people.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a good idea to check things once in a while. Next one we have is from Franny.
Hi, Franny.
Franny said, just had to tell you my daughter made it to Wonderland this week. 198.4. I just cried when she called.
Wow, how wonderful. I mean, it's so true, Franny, right? Congratulations. If you think you are happy because you're having health momentum, when one of your children, one of the other family members in your life, I honestly think that I was more excited about my mother's health gain than I was for myself. Right? I mean, these are the people that you love, and boy, we're celebrating with you. That is awesome. Great news.
Crystal says something about they had the zero sugar Mountain Dew since I got a hot dog at Sam's Club, took the bun off. And then it tasted so good, but then I realized I've never had this much blue dye in my system for the past year.
Wow.
Something interesting that I learned actually from Chris was that like the Mountain Dew, Diet Mountain Dew has juice in it, but the Zero doesn't.
Isn't that interesting?
So like if you're gonna drink like sugar-free Mountain Dew, go with Mountain Dew Zero, not Diet Mountain Dew.
What? I mean, like, again, how would you know that?
You
like,
gotta look at the ingredients.
Well, you do, but like, again, isn't it good when you are in community, you find these type of things that's like a tip that you wouldn't even normally look for, right? That's crazy. Okay, so Marie's husband's name is Dave.
Okay.
All right, ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dave. Happy birthday to you, and many more, so many more, because Marie loves you, Dave. You need to live a good long time.
Okay, next one we have is from Barbara.
Hey, Barbara, being in a tanning bed, my CGM alarm went off. Hypoglycemic. Twice. I haven't been back to tanning since. As much as I enjoyed it, living in Maine in the winter is hard. I also learned I have postprandial reactive hypoglycemia.
After eating.
Even if I have a simple meal with 12 grams of carbs in 4 hours after going to sleep, my glucose has dropped to 60 or so. Wow.
Okay, I did respond to this, and that's one of the reasons I made this the title.
Yeah.
Okay, first, we are not doctors, nurses, or health professionals.
We are people who wear red at the same time without knowing it.
Yes. But everything we talk about is based on our own personal experience, what we've done, what's happened to us, speaking to people who are doctors, nurses, and health professionals, and from stuff that I learned within becoming a certified master health coach. I personally would not be concerned about a 60 glucose. Yes, if you go Google what is hypoglycemic, it's going to say like being in the 50s or something like that. But that's for people who are eating the standard American diet. If you are eating a keto lifestyle and have become fat adapted, have been doing this for a little while, your body is using fuel.
Yeah.
It's using fat. It's not using sugar. So it is very common for your glucose to get that low when you're fasting. If you're super relaxed, it could be a sign your body is in autophagy. Rachel's had it as low as 50. If you are truly hypoglycemic, you're going to know because your body is going, it's not a meter. You're going to get lightheaded. You're going to feel woozy. You're going to feel like you have zero energy. You're going to get the jitters. I mean, there's a lot of signs that go along with it. Just that number in itself, if you feel amazing and your glucose is in the 60s, I personally would not worry about it. But I did link below in the description a great video from Dr. Boz. It was about 2 or 3 months ago where she talks about this. Like, are you hypoglycemic or are you just in autophagy? And she consistently gets numbers in the 50s.
Right.
So does Rachel. But she feels amazing. Why? Her body's using fat for fuel. And you really want it to go low at night. So you're talking about you're in a tanning bed. Definitely could be you're de-stressing. Your glucose is going to go down. So as your stress goes down, your cortisol goes down, your glucose will go down. So personally, if I had glucose in the 60s all the time, I'd be thrilled. Mine is generally in the high 80s and 90s average, and I have a 5.1 A1C according to my blood work that I got done last week. But I personally would not worry about that. Same thing, if you're eating, your body is going to always release insulin when you eat. So first of all, if you're eating a meal with 12 grams of carbohydrates, which is a little bit higher than a lot of people on keto eat in a meal, but it depends on where your carbs are coming from. But if you eat a bunch of protein, your body is going to release insulin.
Right.
And if you're not eating a bunch of sugar, your glucose will tend to go down. But being in the 60s, not a big deal, especially in 4 hours after going to sleep. Also, here's the thing about CGMs, and if you research this, you'll see it. If you're a side sleeper, if you hit it wrong, when you're sleeping at night, a lot of times it affects the signal. It affects the way it's sitting in your arm, and you'll get like weird numbers. That's actually like we turned off the low alarms at night.
Yeah.
Because like it would be for both of us consistently going off in the 50s while we were sleeping, which again is perfectly fine if you're on a keto lifestyle. But there is no way, at least with the Freestyle app, to make it that you're okay with a number lower than 70.
Right.
So for us, we just turned off that low alarm. The only alarm that I keep on there is I keep it if it goes over 160, because I'm just curious if it does. And if it completely like just disconnects and no longer works. Those are the only alarms that we keep on. But again, we are not diabetics. So we're using this for informational purposes, not to dose ourselves.
Very different.
Even the apps will tell you if you experience, like, according to the meter, a low glycemic response, you should double check it with a finger stick because things can be off. Hydration, all of these things affect CGMs. They're not perfect.
And no, I see Becky asking, does a CGM hurt when you're wearing it? No, you don't even feel it. It's such a light little prick to even get it installed.
You don't feel it go on.
And you don't feel it when you're going about your day. It was hot as blazes when we were in Orlando and I was wearing a tank top. It didn't irritate me. When we went in the water, I wasn't worried it was going to float off. Like, I didn't even have, we have like a patch that will go over it, the waterproof thing.
I have some being delivered today.
But it didn't do anything. And I was in the, at a water park and it didn't do anything.
The only time that they irritate me, so if I like rub up against it like this, or if I'm laying in bed, I can feel it and it irritates me, but it's not the CGM. It's the sticker that's holding it on your skin, and it's like pulling hair or skin that may be growing.
Definitely, if you got hairy arm like Joe,
you gotta shave your arm.
You gotta shave around that.
Yeah. Next one's from LM.
Hey LM, someone asked about a cheaper version of the continuous ketone monitor, and Joe said he'd add the information about it later. I can't find it. I checked their links. Can someone help me, please?
Okay, so there's only, so far as I know, currently on the market, one continuous ketone monitor. It's the one from CBio or whatever. We have no affiliation with them. They were at KetoCon. They had sent us one a while ago to try out long before it went to Indiegogo. But I was having problems with the app. We've now learned why I was having problems with the app. I was doing something wrong. User error, usually the first problem with them. But that's the only one I know of. So we left the link for that Indiegogo down below. For the CGM, a continuous glucose monitor, we are working with a company called Tastermonial, which we have a video coming out about it later on this week to explain it more. But basically, you go through that company to get your prescription for your CGM. It costs you $39. And then they call a prescription into your pharmacy. And if your insurance isn't covering it, you're going to pay between $70 to $100 for a month for the CGM. And we've decided to start kind of using that instead of we used to use Nutrisense, because we found Nutrisense was very expensive.
Yeah.
And again, if you're not a diabetic, I just don't want to see anybody paying $400. Nutrisense gives you some cool features,
It's
like a
really
nurse to
cool.
go along with you. But if you just want to do testing and stuff, here's a way where you can basically get the CGM for the cost of the CGM and $39 for a prescription, which is cheaper than a lot of people's copays. I mean, we have a $10,000 deductible on our health insurance.
So it's like cataclysmic health insurance.
If I want to go to my doctor and get a prescription for a CGM, I'm going to have to pay a couple $100 for the office visit, and and then still go get the prescription. So this way, $39, I'm done.
Jackie had asked, do you get like a tan line around it? I'm sure that I do, based on like how I am sitting. I am one of those people that, like, if I'm wearing a scarf, like, I will get the weirdest tan lines. I have to be careful about bathing suits, because if there's a weird tan line to get, I will get it.
Right.
And so I'm sure that there is a tan going on in the back of my arm. So probably when I take it off, you will see a little circle. I've got a tan around my watch for sure.
Yeah. So, okay, next one is from Little Trey.
Little Trey, do you experience the dawn effect?
Yes, we do experience the dawn effect, and I put this in there because everybody experiences the dawn effect. Dr. Berry talked about last year during the Proper Human Diet Summit. Everybody, every mammal experiences it.
I'm a mammal.
You want it, okay? If you're not experiencing it,
you're not a mammal. No,
there's a problem, because it's your body's fight or flight response. So every morning, your glucose should go up even if you're fasted. It's how your body gets your day going. As I said, I went diving last week to 125 feet, and you can see my glucose. I was nervous about the dive. It was my dive master graduation dive. I had to lead it. I was worried about my instructor playing games with me, like, because they do this, like, they're gonna be the worst student in the world, like, and he did this kind of stuff.
They should.
Like, shoot to the surface. How am I gonna react? Because my job is to keep people alive underwater. And so I was nervous about all that, plus first deep dive since our friend passed away. So you see on my CGM, like, steady, jump in the water and skyrockets to it was like 195 or something like that.
That's not scary.
Fasted. Now that is like the dawn phenomenon. That is your body creating cortisol, creating glucose, because it's like, he needs this right now.
Yeah.
That's why you don't have to eat sugar. Your body will give you what you need. So you absolutely want to experience the dawn phenomenon. And if you go back to a video almost 2 years old where Dr. Sivis analyzed all of our blood work, he talked about Rachel was not experiencing enough of one. And if you looked, her fasting insulin was like 1.7 or something like that. And so he had her start adding like some protein and things that would kind of create a glucose response in the morning. And it worked, because now she gets like a 30, 40 point bump when she gets up in the morning.
I really do. Thanks, Dr. Sivis.
Let's go ahead and take a quick fade to black and come back with some more questions.
Happy Monday. If no one has told you yet today, I am so glad that you woke up this morning. I am just tickled to death to get to see you today. Thank you for being here.
Okay, so I did want to say today's Keto Beyond the Couch is brought to you by our granddaughter, Peyton, who has a public service announcement.
She
Ready?
does. Uh-huh.
Eat your liver.
That is the most, like, cutest person and most horrific thing on her tray.
And she looks just like her father.
Oh, my gracious.
And like me.
Do we love her or what? So what she's eating is homemade chicken liver pate. It's made with homemade chicken bone broth and mixed up with some homemade beef tallow that Michelle made.
Peyton
She's loving
is
it.
6 months old and
Well, almost, not quite.
Well,
Don't jump ahead.
In 7 days.
Don't jump ahead, though. I need these 7 days.
Okay, so she's 6 months old, and what does she eat? People have asked us. She gets breast milk. And then she gets to, as she's teething, gnaw on like bones, like beef bones and pork bones. And she's eating liver and beef tallow and bone broth.
She tried. It was so cute. She said,
no cereal for this
I don't
girl.
know if you saw that picture of her eating an avocado in her avocado bib, where she said now she looks like Oma. I mean, I melted, right? Like that was it for me. I was done for the day. But she said, she was celebrating. She was like, good news. She really likes the liver way more than she liked the avocado even.
Right.
And I was like, oh, of course, like that tickled us.
So Jennifer said CGMs do not work underwater. No, you obviously can't get the reading underwater. So especially the old Freestyle Libres, you had to tap. It uses NFC. The new one, the Freestyle Libre 3, uses Bluetooth. So that's not going to work underwater, nor is the Dexcom. However, you can take them up to 8 feet underwater. That's what they say, and they won't go bad. I took mine to 120 feet. I was wearing 2 of them. I was wearing the Freestyle Libre 1 and the 3. The 1 continued to work. The 3 did not.
Yeah.
Now, I've looked on diving forums, and there's a lot of people who say they have them, and they continue to work even after their deep dives. I was also underwater for over an hour. So I did use it against the way they tell you that it's supposed to work.
This is a Joe thing.
But it did keep the readings.
Which is
what
nice.
happened was the Freestyle Libre stopped, like somewhere in there, it just stopped recording. So I don't know if it was salt water that got into the wound or whatever, but it was able to give me all the readings up until that point. And then the other one continued to work. You just obviously, it's recording everything there, and then when you got up on the surface and you scanned it, it worked. I am going to try it one more time with the Freestyle Libre 3, but I'm going to put a waterproof patch over it and see if that works.
We need to screenshot Lindsay saying Peyton is a smart little lady, because Michelle is such a big fan of Lindsay,
yes.
so much so, and it's like, oh my gosh, like that'll be cool.
Next one we have is from Cynthia.
Hey Cynthia, I've been putting it off for a few weeks now, but as I was putting away laundry today, I resigned myself to the fact that it was time to get rid of my 1X clothing. Yes. They're simply too large on me now. Just hangs on me in an unflattering manner. I'm not sure why it was hard for me to part with them. Maybe because they were only a few months old and I didn't feel like I got my money's worth out of them. And the fact that I like them and it was so hard to find flattering tops that I like. Anyhow, it feels like it was just a few weeks ago I made a huge donation of my 2 to 3X clothing. Hopefully someone else will enjoy some barely worn tops. Depending on the store I'm in, extra large is even too big. I find my style is changing as I shrink down. I find I don't like my shirts tunic length anymore. Anyone else's style change? Cynthia, first of all, way to go. I totally understand why, from like a value standpoint, you know, we would like to be good stewards of like the money that we spend. And so when, you know, it is hard to part with something if you've grown out of it before you were anticipating it, right? Mm-hmm. But I will tell you, as somebody who buys pretty much the bulk of all my clothing at thrift stores, thank you. Thank you for donating it, you know, even early, because when I come across a barely worn top, it is a great, great blessing. So this exchange where you're letting go of some stuff and then being willing to like adapt a new style, you're blessing people more than you know, because we're really excited to be able to shop and get a top in our size. And I do encourage everybody, if you're seeing this and maybe it's been a while since you were willing to go to the store and shop for clothes, maybe like go ahead and like go in that dressing room that used to be a really scary place, and then now like you're willing to get in there and try some new things on, you know, you may be surprised like you were leaning towards a different style because you were trying to cover stuff up. And now you're willing to show more like of your body or present it in a different way.
Yeah. Chris said regular Mountain Dew has concentrated orange juice.
And orange
Diet Mountain Dew.
And we were talking about how orange juice will spike you harder than.
Oh, you go drink orange juice. People always like, oh, tell your kids to drink fruit juice.
Yes.
There's more sugar in orange juice than there is in Coke. It'll go, and you know what's even worse is things like the strawberry chocolate milk kind of things.
Yes, that
the
like
amount
quick.
of sugar that's in there it's like worse than Coke.
Don't give that to your babies.
Bird Loves pamphlets. Share the patch for CGM. I always knock them off. I'll share one, but there's tons of them. You just
I'll
go
just write
on.
it down to make sure you do it.
When we do that video, make sure I put it in there. There's a lot of different ones. The one that I have coming, I really like this one. If you have the Freestyle Libre 3, it actually uses a different patch than the 1 and the 2 in the Dexcom. But a lot of them have they have like stickiness like right over where the CGM goes. And the problem with that is that if you want to change out the patch but not pull off the CGM, you can't. This one does not put any glue over the CGM. It just goes around. So it holds it on without sticking to it, so you can pull that off but leave the CGM in you.
Yeah.
Next one is from Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Carol said, I've been keto for 3 weeks and I'm listening to a few podcasts who make sense. I'm listening to Dr. Eric Westman, good choice. 2 Crazy Ketos, of course. Dr. Philip Olvida and Dr. Tro. I realize each expert does things a bit different for allowable foods. What foods are recommended with 2 Crazy Ketos? What is your second favorite podcast? Because 2 Crazy Ketos is for sure our favorite.
Wow.
P.S. I've lost 4 pounds, but I figure I'm large and 63, so I'll be patient.
Way to go, Carol.
Any tips about losing fast would be great too. Thanks. Okay, lots of stuff to put in here.
I love that.
I love Dr. Brian Lenskis. If you're
Me
looking
too.
for a doctor, you can you have
Tony Hampton.
Dr. Tony Hampton, Life's Best Medicine. I like Dr. Baker. There's a lot of amazing podcasts out there. Also, what I do is I take YouTube and then I go in the car and I just listen to it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll download them and listen to it because we have the YouTube Red or whatever they call it now.
That is worth a purchase.
But,
oh my gracious.
I just listen to it. I don't obviously watch the screen while I'm driving, but I will listen to it as a podcast. What are our recommended foods?
Beef.
Meat. Yeah, meat.
Fatty meats.
So when we should probably do a video about this, but
Sure.
when we first got started on keto, we made all the recipes. We bought all the like keto, like we had chia seeds and like every coconut flour and almond flour. We had all of it.
Our pantry looked like a 1970s like hippie wellness store. Is like how I would describe it, right? It was like anything, psyllium husk, like anything that you can think of finding in a nutrition store on a keto shelf, we got it. We bought it.
Yeah. And we still have a lot of recipes. I guess it's not a lot, but there's like over 100 of different things because we're always like, well, you need to have fancy things.
Yeah.
And what we've learned over the last few years is we eat simple. Like, it's kind of why...
Almost boring. I'm sorry.
We don't do as many vlogs of what I eat in a day because it's the same thing over and over and over again. It's eggs and barbecue and ground beef and a keto chow ice cream and I mean, once in a while, sausages. We make a lot of our own sausage. But we eat pretty plain. Like, once in a blue moon will we make a fancy recipe. Like, I made the birria with Anthony. We'll make a casserole. But those, I would say we create a casserole once a month if we're lucky.
Right.
It's very simple eating. And that's what we recommend. Meat, and more meat. If you want some green leafy vegetables, you can have green leafy vegetables. Avoid starchy vegetables. No grains, anything like that.
It is funny if you watch, because I mean, again, if you want like what we eat or what can be eaten in a day on keto, we have so many videos. I mean, we have 5 years worth of videos, including full days of eating videos. And I know a lot of people want to see like, what is the latest thing? I want to see the new video, but I can tell you we ate keto 5 years ago and we eat keto today. So like, I think that you can watch our videos and not worry that like, you're going to be headed in a wrong direction, even if you're watching an older vlog. But definitely because we have changed and pivoted in our own lives, our vlogs reflect it. It's more about how we're living versus what we're eating, if that makes sense, right? Because I find that because we eat so simply, we have more time and energy to live our lives. And some people will say, I don't want to see that, right? Like, I don't want to see where you're going and who you're hanging out with and dive in and all that kind of stuff. I just want to see keto stuff. But I think it's important to keep in mind, we're able to do the things that we're doing because we stay keto.
Yeah.
That is the fuel for our life, is just eating this way.
Next one is from Paul.
Hey, Paul. Consistently consistent as a type 1 diabetic, although people don't like to be called that. I have no problem with it. Today was an A1C of 4.6.
Awesome.
I was diagnosed as an adult in late 2014 at 44 years old and made it my goal to get my A1C in check and reduce any possible complications quickly. Non-diabetic folks run A1Cs between 4.5 to low 5-ish. So that was the main goal, and to get back competing in my sport, which I earn income at. My initial A1C was a 14.4, and blood sugar levels were so bad the meter read high because it couldn't go over 400.
Wow.
I first hit the low 5s in early 2016, but computer health records only show from 2017 onwards. In 6 years, I will take those numbers all day. Type 1 diabetics need not be a challenge to anyone eating this type of dietary way. Just learn how to properly dose insulin for all your food, especially protein, and then try to get some sort of activity into your lifestyle to reduce insulin resistance and increase sensitivity.
I
Wow.
love this post.
Wisdom. Just absolute wisdom. And this is a person who has been a long-term subscriber and is just living it consistently. So it can be done. But I like the fact that your purpose, like your why, what you're doing, your focus, I want my A1C to be at this number in this range. It makes it very easy to make decisions.
Right.
I'm not confused. What should I eat today? I should eat in a manner that will head me in the direction of an A1C that is in this range. So when I'm holding up my two foods, should I eat this or this? It really makes it easy to make good decisions.
Yeah.
I love that.
This is, again, why we say share your story. I know that there are type 1 diabetics who go, oh, I can't do keto. I'm a type 1 diabetic.
Talk to Paul.
Now, I will always tell you, if you're a type 1 diabetic, try to find a keto-friendly doctor you can do this along with. And as Paul said, you gotta be on top of your glucose because your dosing is going to change.
Yes, it will.
It's going to change. You're probably not going to need nearly as much, and it's going to happen fairly quickly. So you want to make sure you're staying on top of your blood sugar, your dosing properly. But it is possible to do keto as a type 1 diabetic, and there are several people who do it.
Aren't you thankful that it is possible to have forward momentum in that particular health situation? Like, I'm so grateful for that.
And you don't have to sit there and rely on the insulin. Personally, I think it's the best thing that you could do if you're a type 1 diabetic, is because you're limiting all of that sugar coming in, which means you don't need to give yourself nearly as much insulin.
Yeah.
Next one is from Bonnie.
Hey, Bonnie.
I feel awful most days. I've had labs, etc. Everything is normal. I've been strict keto since September of 2022, and I've lost 55 pounds. I have no interest in going carnivore. I'm barely hanging on. Today is especially bad. At this point, I'm not losing weight, and that isn't my focus. A friend gave me a generous sample of Prove It. Don't even start about the expensive pee. I've heard it all. My point is, I feel really good when I take it. I don't even care if I've never lost another pound, 50 to go. And I will or would continue to take it if I could figure out how to afford it, because I never feel like that. It's not just the B vitamins. I've tried supplementing that with no luck. There is something in the product that is magical to my body. I know the adage of pay now or pay later, but I'm already working 40 plus hours and barely getting by, and I'm thrifty. What could be the magic part of the product? Ketones.
Yeah.
It's ketones. That's what it's an exogenous ketone. We did a video about a year ago comparing all of the different exogenous ketones that are popular, Prove It being one of them. It's just exogenous ketones. And it's exogenous ketones that are sold through an MLM, which is one of the reasons they're so much more expensive. My problem with that particular one is some of their marketing. Um, though not lying, it's deceptive in saying things like, you can eat a box of Oreos. I don't know why I always use Oreos.
I don't know either, because you weren't that big of an Oreo eater.
But they'll say, like, you can eat a candy bar, you can eat pizza, and then take our ketones and be right back into ketosis. And the problem is, technically, they're not lying. They're not lying, because the definition of ketosis is using ketones for fuel.
Right.
And when you consume exogenous ketones, your body will use those before they use anything else you're eating. The only thing it'll use before exogenous ketones is alcohol. So if you eat a pizza and then you take exogenous ketones, your body's going to use those exogenous ketones before ever metabolizing the pizza. So they're not technically lying, but you're not in ketogenesis where your body is creating the ketones. There is a time and a place, as we discussed in that video, for exogenous ketones. They will give you a little bit of a burst of energy for a short amount of time. They are very expensive. They can help people lose weight because they can help as an appetite suppressant.
Right.
And they can give you some extra energy so that you can work out more. But they don't have a direct correlation with making you lose weight. They're not going to put you in a ketosis or ketogenesis faster. They're not going to burn fat fast or anything like that. The reason you're feeling good is because you're getting exogenous ketones. Two things you can do about that, and go watch that video. You can use much less inexpensive ones like the Perfect Keto Base, which is going to give you the same thing. There are ketone esters, which are probably the best ones out, and we actually have a video coming out on one that we really, really do like. And it works also. They also have what they're calling a keto hall. It's a non-alcoholic drink, but it creates ketones in your body. And then you can also just supplement with MCT oil. If you take MCT oil, and you will find that in that video, you will get all of those ketones at pennies on the dollar compared to exogenous ketones like Prove It. And you're getting some healthy fats in there. And what happens is MCTs go directly to ketones. That's how your body uses them. So there's much better ways. Also, increasing the amount of fat you eat will create more ketones. Fasting will create more ketones in you. So we're not bashing that, but if you're looking for the similar result without spending that kind of money, I would look at like Perfect Keto ones, or you're using MCT oil, and you're going to get all those exogenous ketones. And here's the thing, exogenous ketones can slow down your weight loss if you're looking to lose weight.
Yeah, because of oxidative priority. It's going to hit that first.
Yeah, because it's going to use that first. Next one is from Jasmine.
Hey, Jasmine. So for the last 2 years, I've been tracking my calories religiously. The last few weeks, I realized I was eating to my calories, not my hunger. So I stopped tracking last week. I usually eat twice a day. In the morning when I felt hungry, I drank some water first and came to realize that my hunger went away. So I kept on fasting. I find around dinner time, I don't always feel hungry, but I have other symptoms of hunger, trouble focusing, my ears popping, and a little dizzy if I stand up too fast. I've tried increasing water and electrolytes, but that doesn't seem to do anything. I can't really lose any more weight. If I do, I'll be underweight. So do I honor my stomach and not eat, or just eat because I'm experiencing the other symptoms?
Okay, so some of these things is where, and I'm curious if you are checking your glucose. Again, not doctors, nurses, or health professionals. But if you don't want to lose any more weight, increase the amount of fat you're consuming. Not overall food, just fat. Add some more fat. Add some MCT oil to your diet.
Butter.
That's
easy.
You can eat 2 or 3 tablespoons of butter as an extra 300 calories a day. It's not a lot. Everybody can manage adding that little bit of extra in there. As far as lightheaded when you're standing up, again, it could be low blood sugar. It could be you're low on sodium, which is something I was experiencing early on. You really need to eat a lot of salt. Like, I eat more than a teaspoon a day. On average, I probably consume about 7,000 to 10,000 milligrams of sodium a day. People not on keto would freak out by those numbers. But I just got my blood work done, and my sodium in my blood is actually on the lower side.
Yeah.
So it's
amazingly.
Those are the things that I would take a look at. I'll add this for another convert. Next one is from Becca.
Hey, Becca, I'm mostly carnivore, except when I'm not. I find some days when I just cannot stomach any more fatty meats and fat bombs, I can eat a handful of Brazil nuts to kick up my fat macros. I freaking love Brazil nuts too. And we had
You found the bag I have in the house.
No, I brought.
Oh, I bought you a bag.
You did?
I bought you a bag. I had
thank
gone.
you.
I was actually very upset. I had gone to Sprouts and I bought a bag of Brazilian nuts and a bag of macadamia nuts, and I learned something. Never go to the loose bins for macadamia nuts.
Why?
Because they were rancid. I had to throw them all out.
Oh,
like $20 a nut.
Gracious, that makes you aggravated.
And I'm like, it's not worth it. Like they're like I want them, but they just didn't taste right.
Man.
And then you're thinking about the amount of fat and stuff, and it's like it's not worth it.
No,
but there's a bag of Brazil nuts. But you told me to hide the nuts from you.
I did. Well, my mom likes nuts too. So when we were going away, I thought, well, I'll get one little can of the more fancier nuts that don't have peanuts in them, but like have more of a variety. And so I brought them, and I thought I saw a Brazil nut in there, and I thought it's been a minute since I had a Brazil nut, but it was good.
Yeah, they're really good. You don't want to over consume them.
No, but they're tasty.
Yeah, 4 or 5 of them, and you don't need a lot. I mean, that's another great way to get some more fat.
They're so great big, aren't they?
I don't think anybody has a problem eating 4 or 5 Brazil nuts.
No, I mean, they have such a distinct mouthfeel. They're very low in
carb, and they're high in fat.
They're delicious. Becca knows. Becca knows how good they are.
Next one's from Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
Progress update on my goal to run a 5K without stopping. Today I ran 2.6 miles without stopping. It wasn't fast, but I can work on speed later. I'm feeling victorious.
I love this. I love this dialogue. I love this goal. Sarah, this is a fantastic goal, and her attitude is so good because sometimes I can be kicking myself because you've set this goal and you're like, yeah, and the pace of my goal is not good. And it's like, I will work on speed later. Getting it done is what is important, not getting it perfect.
Right.
Right? Great job.
Next one is from Larry.
Hey, Larry, I am praising God for the people he has placed into my life who have inspired me to get moving and taking keto beyond the couch. I am on my 3rd day of movement by walking 3 miles each day. Today, I began with a 3.16 walk around the neighborhood. Woohoo.
That is
Larry,
awesome.
Great job.
It's funny. So, like I said, on Saturday, I worked 7 games, but I had a break. Then I had messaged the guy who was assigning it, and it's a young kid. I've known him for years. We actually did football together. He recently moved to Colorado. And he was kind of like my on-the-field mentor for lacrosse. And so, I'd messaged him like, am I not working tomorrow? Because I haven't seen the schedule for Sunday. And he was like, yes, you're on field 3 all day, and then you have the championship on field 1. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, what time? And then he finally sends me the schedule, and it's literally starting at 9 a.m., going to 4 o'clock p.m., no break. So it's literally game. It was 1 minute in between quarters, 1 minute halftime. And if you timed everything right and you were, as the official, on top of the time and saying, nope, you get 1 minute, get back on the field, and if you're not, I'm starting the clock kind of thing, you got about a 5-minute to 8-minute break between games, just enough to go chug a thing of water.
Right.
I drank 7 elements each day. I had said to him, what do you think? I'm 20 years old? You want me to 7 straight hours with no break? And he's like, you can handle it. You're keto. Now, he was kind of being facetious.
Right.
Because he was actually the one that when I started keto, he said, you're going to gain all the weight back.
Thanks for that.
And yeah, but now he's inspired by me. He's like, he said to me yesterday, he's like, I wish I could do what you do.
You can, friend.
He's like, I don't have the willpower to not eat the sugar and the bread and all that kind of stuff. But I felt good at 52 years old keeping up with people in their 30s.
I'm really proud of you.
Except we had a rainstorm.
Well, are you going to give a shout out to what, you are
I am not going to show it because it would make people vomit.
Right.
But we had a rainstorm at 1 o'clock yesterday. I mean, it was bad. The rain was coming down so hard, it looked and felt like hail, but it was not. You could not see the other side of the field. And within 20 minutes, we had 3 inches of water on an AstroTurf field. And it's funny, he brought a friend with him from Colorado who's like, I've never experienced rain like that. And I'm like, oh, this wasn't even a summer
Welcome to
rain.
Florida.
This wasn't even a summer rain. But now I'm soaking wet. I'm
Summer
running up
rain.
and down a field. And I got like a rash where my loose skin on my leg, on my inside of my thigh. But it was the way it was rubbing up against my underwear.
TMI.
And it's about this big and it's super inflamed. So thank you, Redmond, for having baby powder.
Oh my gosh.
This stuff has been a lifesaver. I was in so much pain. I came home, I'm like, what is going on?
He comes to greet me at the door, and I thought, all of a sudden, I'm married to John Wayne. He looked like he just dismounted a horse.
I've never experienced that before, but it was just the way the loose skin like rubbed up against my underwear being soaking wet.
So there you go. That's a lot for a Monday morning. I don't know the rest of your week's looking like, but like that's a lot for a Monday.
We have one more from Carmen.
Hey, Carmen.
So the more you know. Yikes. If this is accurate, I'm so glad I cut that garbage out several years ago. It is accurate. Margarine is one molecule away from plastic and shares 27 ingredients with paint.
Bon appetit. Yeah, I mean, again, this is why we have to take a look at ingredients.
Heart healthy.
It's heart healthy, right? Like plastic
Better than butter.
Right. It's not, though. It is not.
Please throw out the seed oils.
I can honestly say there was at no point that I put it's better than butter on anything and was like, that is better than butter. Never. False. Yeah. Incorrect. Even before we went keto, I knew that to be incorrect.
We're not fanatical about many things. Like, you know, people, I don't like the terms like dirty keto, clean keto, things like that, because you're putting a label on yourself like I'm a dirty person.
I just don't want you to think
cheater,
that of yourself.
But we're not a fanatical on, I mean, obviously, we do product reviews. We're okay with sucralose, even though some people aren't.
Yeah.
I think there is a place for keto treats and packaged products, especially when you're first getting started. Not everybody feels that way. We're not hard on many things, but the two things that I am pretty, like, I'm not going to change my stance on is seed oils, because I know what they do to our body and I know what they do to my body.
Yeah.
And if at all possible, you need to get them out of your life, even if you're not keto. And the other one is all of the prepackaged keto-friendly breads you find in the stores, because I feel like they're lying to us. You know, they all have wheat in them. They have inflammatory ingredients. They're pumping fiber in. And even our friend Steve, who is a better man than me, because he does all of those tests and has said like he's got to stop because it's affecting his body.
It is.
Right? Because he has shown that like they make his glucose go up.
I love him and I don't want him
inflammation.
to make himself sick on this stuff. Like I appreciate like what he's doing to like make sure that we're aware of what's happening in someone's body when they consume it. But like, and let's learn that lesson. If he's going to have gone through all of this, let's not go and be like, well, I'm going to eat it anyway. Like, you know, he's showing you what's happening. So like, let's learn from him. I feel like that's the best way to say thank you for the hard work he's doing.
Yeah. Cher said Dr. Boz did admit that her ketone supplements are not the best way to boost ketones. They have a time and a place. But if you're trying to lose weight, not necessarily there. That's why she really talks about MCT, because it's a good thing for your body. It gets in more fat. Your body will create ketones from them. But certain people could use them. If you're a person who needs really high ketones for like brain function, mental illness, things like that, that's where they can help. But it is very expensive.
But I understand that they have these different things in this space because people like different flavors. And they're gonna, and they're trying to switch out maybe drinks that have a flavor. If you're not going to just drink water, that it's like, I'm going to drink something, but at least I'd like it to do a job of some sort. Like, I understand why people want things with different tastes.
Yep. Okay, some comments here. Sandra said, are you aware of any type 1 diabetic YouTuber that shares about eating a low-carb or ketogenic lifestyle?
Southern Christy.
Southern Christy Davis.
Yeah. She does.
I know that there's other ones out there. I would check out, I mean, if you want to learn really about stuff, that's where I'm tuning into Dr. Barry and stuff, where they have videos about being a type 1 diabetic.
Yeah.
As we said earlier, the key is watching your glucose. Andy said, should I wait to get a CGM until after my summer water aerobics? I don't want to ruin it. Again, unless you're going swimming, we spend our life in the water even before getting way into scuba diving and me pursuing a professional route of scuba diving. But we've used them in the pools all summer long.
The beach.
Rachel lives in a bathtub.
I do.
You know, she'll go in that bathtub for 4 hours.
Bye, world.
And so, I mean, you spent a week in it at one point.
I did, I was.
That's
didn't
how
have,
you didn't eat.
I didn't have a CGM. That's how I detoxed from sugar.
Yeah. We live in the water. We go to water parks. We've never ruined them. If you look on Abbott's website, they say 8 feet. Like they're good for 8 feet. So,
Well, and we pushed that this weekend. I was in 8 feet of water,
and it's still working.
and it was fine.
Yeah,
totally fine.
So personally, I wouldn't. And again, you can get patches to put over it. The biggest problem with taking them in water for long terms is honestly the fact that the glue, it's like a Band-Aid. You wear a Band-Aid and after a while it starts loosening up and it comes off in the pool. It's the same kind of thing, although it uses a better adhesive than Band-Aids, but that's where when you put the patch over it, you don't end up with that problem.
Yeah.
Carrie said, question, is there caffeine in the Good Idea drinks? If so, then it wouldn't be a good idea for me. No, there was no caffeine in them at all.
So it might be a good idea for you.
Yeah. Bird Loves Pain said, my story today is lab work and back to the endocrinologist. My new meds are not working because my blood sugar is too high and it's not what I'm eating. So frustrating. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry about that. That is frustrating.
Andy said, I'm welcoming leg cramps after a 3-week cortisol spike from grieving a family member's death. Back in ketosis after all of that stress.
Andy, I am so sorry for your loss. Oh my gracious. Yeah, I mean that will affect us. That affects our health. I mean, it really is a major factor. I mean, life events like that really will, just devastate you, health-wise. So I'm so glad that you're back.
Juju, Joe, CGMs measure your interstitial fluid. I wonder if diving messes with it since it gets compressed underwater. It's not really a spike versus water pressure. It's not really, you don't get that kind of pressure, but I checked my glucose by sticking myself when I came to the surface and it was elevated. So it was, again, the stress. It's normal when you're under stress for your glucose to go up. That's not a bad thing unless you're always stressed. When you fast, especially if you do alternate day fasting, you're continually putting your body in stress because the act of eating a lot becomes a stressor, and then the act of fasting becomes a stressor. That's why sometimes people who do 48 and 72-hour fast, you do a 48, 72-hour fast, which is a stressor on your body, and then you start eating and they start craving lots of sweet things because the cortisol makes you want the sweet things.
Right.
So it's things you have to look at. Becky said, can you wear it on your leg or your stomach? Not on your leg. Originally,
look at my brother's beard in that picture.
Originally, Freestyle said you could wear it on your stomach and your arm, and then they kind of moved just to the arm. I know the Dexcom, a lot of people wear them on your stomach. You can try. I will say this about Abbott, they're very good if you have a problem. If it falls off early or something like that,
they'll replace it.
You just call them up and they send you a new one.
Which
I
is
called them up
nice.
and said I took it underwater and it stopped communicating. I called them that afternoon. And
they didn't say, hey, dummy.
No, they said no problem, and they sent me a new one. I think it's being delivered today. So that one got replaced.
Color me impressed.
And it's not the first time. One time I walked through the door and I hit it because I was wearing it over here, and
That's
I hit it on
Rachel move
on the doorway, and I called them up. No problem, we'll send you a new one. So they're pretty good about that.
And here's some bubble tape for your arm.
Amber said, my next CGM I'm going to try on my stomach. I find my right arm usually gets low alarms more than my left arm.
Interesting.
But you also need to alternate, so I'm curious. Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Life Station Express said, Equip no longer makes Smart Sleep. Is the Perfect Keto one similar?
Yes.
I haven't tried the Perfect Keto stuff.
I have.
The collagen, I just didn't like the taste as much.
Yeah.
But what we kind of just started using is all of the stuff from
the magnesium.
The magnesium from Keto
Chow. But I have tried the Perfect Keto one, and so did Mommy, and she liked it and thought it had a similar result. But yeah, we largely use the magnesium from Keto Chow now because it is just a game changer. So I highly recommend that if you don't already have the Keto Chow, if you're like, I'm in the market for something new, I would go there first, honestly.
Infinitely Blessed.
Hey.
Any tips on filling up her protein in an affordable way?
Sure. Oh yeah.
Eggs.
Hot dogs.
I
like
I'm thinking
dogs.
super high. No, I'm thinking
high
just
protein.
really high. Eggs, tuna, chicken, canned chicken. Ground beef.
Chicken thighs and legs,
Yeah.
you know, those kind of things. You can still get it for like $1 a pound or whatever.
Yeah. The first two places I would go is ground beef and eggs, because they are the healthiest meats you can eat. And you're going to get plenty of fat in them. The biggest problem with eating chicken or tuna fish is they're very, very lean. So you're going to have to supplement a lot of fat, because you need to make sure you're consuming fat. But yeah, I love chicken breast, and then I put a bunch of mayo or butter, things like that in it. Ground beef is still inexpensive. I mean, even like people say ground beef is expensive in Texas. Even at $5 a pound of ground beef is a lot of food.
That's a lot of food.
You know,
and
eggs, they're the perfect food.
If you could eat, you know, for less than $10 a day, I mean, that's amazing. I mean, you figure I used to spend $5 on a coffee.
Right.
Like, we'll find the food. And here's the thing. As you continue to stay keto, what we learned is that, again, it's a transfer of how you're spending your money. We went from spending money on a lot of over-the-counter medicine. Well, we don't buy those anymore. I don't need Alka-Seltzer and Pepto-Bismol and things for, you know, tons of acid reflux, and I don't need Tylenol and Advil. And it was interesting. I think one of the greatest wins, I think, for in our Two Crazy Ketos family was when there was a couple, and I can't remember who it was that had shared it, but they had said that they, as part of their insurance, get a certain budget for like over-the-counter things that just come for free. And they were like, we had to buy a hot water bottle because we didn't need any of the over-the-counter medicine, that even giving it to us for free, we just don't need it anymore. And so once you're not buying any of those things, that is money for your ribeye budget, right? Which is a blessing.
Yeah. TJ wants to know, are you still running?
Oh, man. I was really hoping that you were just going to be a courtesy to me and like skip it.
Not as much, because you've
not
been busy,
as much,
but you have been getting out. And
I have not run since Mother's Day. And I need to get my butt out.
It's a week. You had a very busy week.
I really appreciate, TJ, that like you did call me out on it, and I need to get my behind out there and actually run. I've done a lot of walking, but I know that is just me rationalizing good enough. And I know I said I was going to run, and I need to run. Yeah. But you're in the doghouse when we get off of this live stream, because I was like, don't do it. Don't pick that one. But like, yeah, I needed to get called out.
Lori said, my husband and I are keto carnivore since January. I've lost 22 pounds.
Way to
no
go.
cheating either, but I still have inflammation. Would love to hear you do a good lipidemia physician interview.
Great. Let me write that down so I can
look into that. I mean, again, for the inflammation, what kind of inflammation? Just lipidemia in your legs? Unfortunately, that's a difficult thing to get rid of.
It is. I have it also.
Yeah, so Rachel has a little bit of it. One of the things that will help you the most is honestly keto, because it's, you know, it's more anti-inflammatory. You don't have as many fluids. Your body's not going to hold on to as many fluids. Make sure you're consuming plenty of sodium. Water chases salt, so if you're eating enough salt, then you've got a bunch of, your body's got more than it needs, it gets rid of it, and the fluids go with it. If you're not consuming enough salt, which people think it's the opposite, if you're not consuming enough salt, many times you get more inflammation. Whenever my sodium is down, my inflammation goes up. Oh, by the way, I'm not wearing my wedding ring because I got slashed right across the fingers by a kid. He went to stick check someone, and it came down and hit across my fingers. And it took me an hour to get my wedding ring off because this, it swelled up.
You can see my concern because I was out of town this weekend, though. Like, where?
This is the first time in 15 years my wedding ring is not on.
And it was our week of our anniversary, and I come home and he has no wedding ring on, and I'm like, wait, what's happening?
I couldn't get it. Hurt. It just hurt. So.
Oh, and TJ was said no judgment. I was just asking. No, you need to ask me. I need to be called out. Oh, and that reminds me, I had written down because I wanted to make sure that I said this. Last week, I had thanked Shelly for silicone molds in the shape of a heart that I used to melt keto bricks in. Mm-hmm. And we had just got off, and then I saw a residual chat comment from Donna Kimball, who was at KetoCon, and she was like, oh, I gave you the silicone molds. Actually, Donna, we had gotten 2. I got some at KetoCon from you and from Shelly, and it just happened to be that the one that I had used that day was the one Shelly said. So I am so sorry that I did not like publicly add on like a thank you to you, because I am so thankful for those beautiful heart-shaped silicone molds that you generously gave to me, and I'm using those too. It just happened to be that it was Shelly's one that I had used that day. So, but I didn't forget, and I just wanted to make sure that I told you thank you, and I'm so sorry for the confusion on that.
Okay, Boink said they do not sell margarine anymore. It's now called
Plant butter. Ugh. I mean, that doesn't even sound right? That don't even sound good. And it like, is it just plant butter? Like, I feel like that's saying avocado oil mayonnaise, right? Like, it's avocado. There's avocado oil in it, but there's also a lot of other junk if you're buying it from Hellmann's or like Kraft, right? It's not just that. And I think when you're like, well, this is plant butter, and it's like, there may be plants in it, but it's not just that's in it. Ugh.
Andy, can MCT oil be used in cooking? You can, but here's the thing about MCT oil. You don't need a lot of it.
No, you'll get the poops.
So it's going to be kind of difficult to use it in cooking because first of all, it's expensive. When it comes to MCT, you only want C8, C10. You don't want the higher carbon chains. Like C12 maybe, but really you're looking for C8, C10.
I like C8.
You can get either straight C8 or you can get straight C10, or what we usually have is like the combination C8, C10 because each one has a slightly different benefit. But you want to get good stuff from where it's either coming from coconut or from sustainably sourced palm. That's the key, but a half a tablespoon or less is going to go a long way. If you've never had MCT oil, again, it runs right through you.
It does.
It runs right through you. So, like, we can do a tablespoon, sometimes 2 in a day. On average, we do, like, maybe a half a tablespoon when we're doing it. But if you're not used to it, it's going to run right through you. Like, and I mean, like, in record time.
And I think that honestly, like, if you're gonna say like, I want to start trying to use a little bit of MCT oil, do that on your day off and really like start with like.
And it doesn't have a flavor, so you can literally like do it like medicine.
Yeah, and you could add it to anything, but like I would really just start experimenting with it, really tiny amounts, and like start when you're like, I'm gonna have a morning at home or that. Yeah.
Yeah. John said, when does Publix have their bacon sales? I'm close to Publix. I need some bacon.
Bacon.
They change it depending on where you are in the country. For us, our Publix new sales start every Thursday. You can go to Publix.com and they have like a list of all their sales. Where we go is Fresh Market.
Yeah.
Fresh Market does the buy one, get one free bacon on Mondays. So that's where we go. So that's not Publix though.
But you might have a Fresh Market by you.
Yeah, Jennifer said there are several type 1 diabetics who do low carb and keto. Dr. Westman has a type 1 class for $99. Awesome. Check it out. That is, if you're
that's
a type 1,
idea.
That's like, amazing man when it comes to keto.
I'm so excited he's going to be on the cruise.
Yeah. Mary said, picking up my CGM today from the pharmacy. Excited to get started testing. Always wanted to. Just too expensive. Thank you for the link.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited that we could bring that. That was our great desire when we went to KetoCon. That was the goal, was to find a low-cost CGM. Like, that was really what we were looking to find. So I'm really thankful.
Jujube said, if you have an Aldi midweek, midday, if you can get there, they usually have half-price meat, markdowns at my store, worth a try.
That's true. I usually, like, because I used to work at Aldi, and I will tell you, if you can be in first, like, we would, every single morning at Aldi, we would lower all the prices of the meat. That was, like, first thing in the morning, because there's so few employees that are working, you have to do all of that stuff in the morning. So if you have an Aldi in your area and you can comfortably go, be the first one in, head right back to the meat section, and that's where they're going to have like $2 off a package or $5 off a package. And sometimes, depending on the manager, you're going to find it's the manager's choice as far as blowouts go. So if you have a couple of Aldi in your area, you need to go and find the ones where you consistently find like blowouts quickly. So one way that you can tell is if you have like, if you just passed a season. So like, if you have like Easter passes and you're like, wow, it was like the Monday after Easter, they already had slashed the prices on it, versus you go to an Aldi and you're like, okay, it's July 4th and they still have some Easter stuff on sale. That's the manager. The manager is determining when it goes on sale.
The store is small, so they don't have a lot
So they get to decide, do I want to move it quickly, or does the manager want to be one of those that's like, I want to get the full price?
Right.
And so it's dealer's choice. So find that, the Aldi where they clearly want to blow out stuff quick.
Becca said, can you recommend a source for non-coconut source MCT? I'm allergic to coconut. I honestly don't know, because pretty much every MCT oil that I know comes from palm, either coconut or palm. I don't know if like an allergy to coconut is the same as MCT. It's just because of the way the oils are made. It doesn't taste like coconut. It's not like eating coconut. So that would be something you'd have to maybe talk to a physician or like your allergy doctor about. But honestly, I don't know where Dr. Boz is, like how it's sourced. But the only good ones that I've ever seen and that I would ever recommend are sourced from either coconut or palm. And so that's the best that I can help you with. Just two more. John said, we need to challenge a vegetarian to beef, butter, bacon, egg challenge with testing. They have their fake bacon, fake beef, and fake eggs, and fake butter. I wonder who would have better lab results. There's no question. We've talked about doing a video in the past, like eating some different things, and then Dr. Barry was like, please don't do that to your body. Like, I thought about doing stuff and, like, using some of this kind of stuff, and then also, like, even doing, like, a whole video week of like some just garbage ingredient
I'll
stuff.
tell you.
And he was like, do not do that
I'll tell you who really did that, John, is Carnivore Werewolf, who was in our most recent podcast, and he was vegan.
Well, that video went up yesterday.
Oh, good. He's vegan, and he went to carnivore. I mean, what a gap, right? I actually reached out to Dr. Baker and was like, I just want to thank you for writing that book, because it touched his life, and we got to talk to him, because that, you never know the spark of sharing, a story will do. But yeah, so he did that, and Lord knows his lab results are way better. In fact, he talked about how that veganism caused a lot of problems.
Yep. Last one, Cynthia said Winn-Dixie has bacon on sale right now.
Oh, there you go.
They have a BOGO right now. So
oh, awesome.
There you go. If you got a Winn-Dixie, go grab some bacon. Okay, we're going to get off, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back live on Thursday at 8:30. Oh, no. We will not be live on Thursday at 8:30. I have a football game. Unless that game gets changed, which I haven't checked my email, we will be doing it on Wednesday.
Wednesday at 8:30
p.m. Eastern Time.
What about our
we're also going to do
live stream?
I think what we're going to do is, that's kind of throwing a wrench. I was doing that on Wednesday. So what we're going to do is our live stream. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification. Our regular live stream will either be Thursday or Wednesday. It's right now scheduled for Wednesday. However, if my game on Thursday gets canceled, we'll move it back to Thursday.
Okay.
On the opposite day, Rachel is going to do a channel supporter live stream.
With me?
Yes.
You trust me to do it?
And then when I get home, like if I get home from my game or whatever, I'll jump in or whatever. If I don't have a game, then we'll both do the channel supporter live stream.
Okay.
Okay, does that work?
Yeah, if you trust me with it.
So yeah, for everybody in Mighty Networks, we'll put a post out. I'm just waiting to hear back from the assigner for the game on Thursday, because I told them basically, here's the thing. The reason I accepted this game is because I'm the crew chief and I want a shot at a crew chief position for football this year. But if I don't realistically have a chance to get the crew chief position,
I have a shot?
I don't want to do the game, because I'd rather do the live stream. I'm not doing the live stream because I want a chance at a crew chief position. But if realistically there's 10 other people and they're ahead of me because I don't want to play in a good old boys club, then just take me off the game. That's kind of how I feel about it. It's not the money thing. I want to be here rather than on that field.
I like that.
So that's what we're going to do. So right now, live stream will be Wednesday.
Okay.
If I don't have a game on Wednesday, we'll move it to Thursday, and then we'll do the other one on Wednesday.
All
So
right.
just make sure you're subscribed and have
Because
notifications on.
what did analytics say? Like, what is the percentage of people that are not subscribed to our channel but watch it regularly?
Like 70%.
70%. So do us a huge favor. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. It's free. We won't charge you for subscribing, and it really blesses us.
Guys, have a great day.
We
Bye.
love you.